Alright guys, welcome back to building the fourth floor and the drawers. In the last one we removed all the seats. First things first, I did put this little piece in here just to help me figure out how this will look, how this will fit and what dimensions we need to do. With the carpet on top it'll be pretty much flat, which is awesome. Coincidentally, this piece is actually the perfect length. As you can see, you can just fit the seat, and it does actually open and close, so that's perfect. And as you can see, that leaves us quite a bit of space down there to put inverter, maybe secondary battery. I love these little measuring tapes. They're only 2 meters, but they fit on your keys. Alright, look at that. So 1200, that's perfect. Now that is a little bit tight against the seat, but as you can see, the corner does touch in here and not here. So I will make a slight curve on the corner here, so it pushes all the way back, and that will leave about a centimeter or so next to the seat. So that's perfect. So this is 1200, and the narrowest point is from that bracket to this bracket. So that's about 117 centimeters. Alright, so that makes it really simple, because these pieces of plywood are 1200. Okay, so that's perfect. We just have to do one cut, because the width is perfect, so you just need to cut 117 centimeters from the top, and that's it. And then just cut the corners a little bit to fit in here, and then we need to figure out the brackets. Speaking of the brackets, my thinking was to attach it to these bolts. My thinking is that a proper solid chunks of 3D printed brackets will be more than enough. There's this nice piece in the middle, so we'll put a screw on each side through that, and then there's a screw hole here and the same on the other side, so I'll probably put another one through there. So there's gonna be 4 bolts holding it on this side, and then 4 of those supporting brackets there. Okay guys, apologies for the quality, but I'm just shooting on my phone just so you can see it. So I will try to do the 3D printed brackets first. You'd be surprised if you print with high density how strong these can be. So we'll give it a try. Now this is the classic old school way of getting your measurements right. So I just cut out a piece from cardboard and that actually is a perfect size, which I didn't expect, but well, that's a good start. Obviously it will be a 3D version of that, and there will have to be a hole going through, one thicker so I can put a socket and the washer can get through, and then a thinner hole, a smaller hole at the bottom for the nut. So for the screw, I mean bolt, that one. So we'll give it a try, put it in the CAD software, see how that fits, and if it fits well, then we'll do 4 high density ones. All right, see how we go. So, bear with me, 2 hands. There's a small hole on this side and a big hole from this side, and there's a space to put the washer and access the nut and bolt. So that's where we are. Let's throw it on our 3D printer and see what comes out, then I'll test it in the car. Alright, so I just uploaded it to the slicer. As you can see, it's a lot more finer honeycomb inside. It's a lot more solid. It will also take 9 hours to make. Okay, let's send it to the printer. guys, whilst the 3D printers printing the brackets, I decided to do 3. We'll do one in the middle and one on the side. I did cut a piece of plywood, and now we'll try to fit it in there, see if it fits and if the seats will close. So let's give it a try. Alright, let's see if this fits. Perfect. It's obviously not holding straight because the brackets are not there, but once they're in place, that looks awesome. Now we're going to cut out that square hole. So all I need to do is measure where to cut. Now I do want to use this support and these supports, so I don't want to cut too far. Also want it to still have some structure, so in order for us to access the butcher, we probably need about that much space. Alright, that's the part we're cutting up. Alright, there's our hole. If you guys wondering what this is, it's a Japanese Ryoba saw. These are amazing. You'd be surprised how quickly you can cut with these and how straight. And for cutting something flush, these are amazing. Alright, that's perfect. That's how it's going to sit. This is gonna get screwed down to the support brackets here. There's another one right here, so there's gonna be 2 screws here, and then the 3 brackets. We'll wrap it in a carpet. In the meantime, the brackets are printing. Alright guys, welcome to my living room floor. I bought this Marion carpet at our local hardware store. A bit to overhang on each side. Alright, I just made up grabbing a stapler, folding this over, start in the middle, and just staple that in, and then just work my way around. There's never enough staples. Right, let's see what it looks like. Look at that. Ooh, that is awesome. Better than I expected. All right, let's try to put it in the car. All right, look at that. Doesn't that just look like factory? Woohoo! I am stoked. This is awesome. We'll finish printing out the brackets. Once we have them, we'll mount them there, and then we'll screw the whole thing down. And then we'll see how we can build some drawers and fridge slide and a table slide. And I have something in my head, and I've never done it before, so we'll figure it out together. Alright, 15 hours later, and these 2 pieces are done. So let's take them out. Now we have 3. Let's go put them in the car. So what I decided to do is put one here, one in the middle, and one to the end. So all we need to do now is cross our fingers that it's actually going to fit. So this should just slide in there. Hopefully come out the other side. Okay, that looks good. And then this will go right here. Just need to get my wrench and screw it in. Alright, that one is solid. I'll just put in the third one. Alright. Alright, not bad, it's solid. So now I'll just do the same with the other two, and then we'll attach the bolt to the back. Alright, time to attach these two bolts. I just got some bolts, some washers, and captive nuts that will go underneath. Alright, that one's in, nice and flush, nice and flush. I don't need these two. Alright, now we're done with the floor. Now we need to figure out the drawers. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like I said, never done any of this before in my life. Never done this. This is the first one. But we'll see how we go. We'll figure it out together. Alright guys, here is just a basic mock-up of what the drawer unit is going to look like. Pardon the noise as the 3D printer printing the brackets. So I will have two sections. This one will just be one drawer. That's going to be for all my recovery gear, my tools, my spare parts and whatnot. This is going to be the heavy drawer, and it's going to be across on the other side from where I'm sitting. So that's going to help with the weight distribution a bit. On this side, obviously there is the cutout down here that I didn't do on this mock-up, but you can imagine that's down there. And I'll probably cut this one under an angle bit so there is easier access to the bottom when the drawers are out. On this side there is going to be a drawer that's across the full width, and underneath there's going to be a gap, and that's where my table will slide into. So I'll have a table that slides underneath. I can pull that table halfway out and then I can just do some things on that, or I can slide it all the way out and drop the legs and have a table. And above that's going to be a little bit shallower but a huge drawer that's going to store all my cooking stuff or my other camping gear, and probably at the back of it, because this thing is still 1200 deep, I might have storage for some extra things. So that should be plenty of storage in the bag, and then the fridge slide is gonna sit just here on top. Alright, so the next step is, once the floor is done, is to cut out all these pieces, wrap them in a carpet, and then just screw them, probably with small little brackets down to the floor, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I'll see you guys downstairs. Alright, so I just cut this piece of plywood up. As you can see, this is just a scrap old piece of plywood that I used for painting, but because it's going to be covered, that's fine. This is going to be the top. This is what the fridge slide will sit on. So just measure that up and cut that into the right dimensions. It obviously needs to be a little bit shorter than the floor because the rear seats angle backwards a little bit. So this needs to be a little bit shorter. So this is 1100, the bottom is 1200. So that will give us a little bit of space behind the seats. We can put some stuff. So these are all cut up. I'm just going to wrap them in a carpet the same way I did the floor. I'm not gonna bore you with that process again. Alright, so here are the pieces wrapped up. There's the big one, the two side ones. So this is going to be between the car and the cabinet. There'll just be a gap so I can put some other things in there. And where the runners will be, I just left it blank. This is just the middle divider, so that's the same on both sides, just to kind of give it some nice edges Right, let's assemble it together and put it in the car. Alright, so all I did of the camera is just to attach these to the top, and then we're going to flip that upside down and mount it into the car. I just use a few of these brackets. I think that's going to be plenty strength because it will get attached at the bottom, and then back here we'll probably put a plate across, so I can mount some accessories to that from the side behind the rear seat, but also to give it a little bit more structure so it can move side to side. So let's go try to fit that in a car. So here we go. Alright, I think that looks awesome. Okay, so this is what it looks like from the back. This is going to be the fridge slide side. This, I have no idea what I'm going to put here. There's going to be a little bit of space on this side and a little bit of space on this side, so I can probably slide a few things there. And this is the back of it. So one of the drawers will come right here across. That's the big one that goes all the way back there, and then here is going to be space for the table and then a drawer above that, and as I mentioned, I cut this back a little bit so we can always access the battery. So I'm just going to attach these with the brackets here, here, and on this side, and then we'll start designing the drawers. Awesome. It's time to mount the back plate and then go get some drawer sliders, drawer runners, install those, and then we need to make some drawers. Again, it's been a while since I made a drawer, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, so we have our drawer slides now. One for this one, and there is another one for the other drawer. All I'm going to do is I just put two little spacers, and I'm going to put that one on top of that and screw it in. Really, it doesn't matter as much how high or low they are on each side. Really all that matters is that they are running straight this way, so they're parallel with the top and the bottom, and especially that they are parallel to each other on each side. You don't want one sliding downhill and the other one sliding uphill at the same time, because that just wouldn't work. So that's why the easiest way is just use a couple of spacers, use the exact same spacers on all of the sides. That way we'll make sure that they're all parallel with the floor. Okay, these are now in. They are 227 kilos rated. Now 227 kilos is obviously when they are somewhere around here. Once they're fully extended, these are rated to 100 kilos. So even if I pull the drawer all the way out, I can have a 100 kilo person standing on a drawer and it will be perfectly fine. Okay, so I've prepared these off camera. Is just again a piece of wood, just wrapped around in a carpet with a few staples. So that's just going to come kind of here at the back, and I'm going to screw that in through the sides, and it's going to provide a little bit of structural integrity so it doesn't wobble and slide side to side. We'll also provide a nice space to mount a few things to if I need to, and I did leave a little bit of a gap on purpose in case anything gets wet inside. There's some airflow going through so it can kind of dry out while I'm driving. So I'm just going to attach these. One goes here and the smaller one goes there. We'll see how that looks like when it's done. Okay, I've attached these with just 2 screws from each side. It holds it in place, and that actually makes this thing absolutely solid. So this thing doesn't move at all. If you're wondering how I can squeeze around corner to screw the screws, this little thing, it's awesome. You can screw around the corner. All you need to do, well, it's kind of hard to do while I'm holding the camera, but you can just hold that and just screw like that. Let's put a fridge side on top and see how it all fits. Okay, so let me walk you through what I've done here. So this is the Dometic fridge slide. They have two sizes. This is the larger one. Unfortunately, they do make them in black, but I couldn't find it in black. Nobody has the stock, so it will have to be this color. Maybe one day I'll pull it out and just paint it black, but for now this will do. Now originally, as I mentioned, I wanted to have a drop slide. The problem with drop slides is that they are huge and heavy and would just take too much space and add too much weight to the car. So I ended up wanting to have just a tilt slide. The challenge with tilt slides is that, well, A, they're quite expensive. It cost $1,000. This thing was $350. And also, again, they are all out of stock. So I ended up just buying a standard slide, but what I did come up with is just these two brackets. So it's just a standard L bracket that I chopped off, drilled a hole through, painted it, and I'm gonna have two of these like this, and then I drilled a little hole on each of the sides, and that will just have a bolt running through these, and that way I will basically create a hinge on this side, so the whole thing will be able to slide out and tilt on this hinge. And then all I need to do is just at the back, I know that the tilting slides, they have struts, gas struts, to assist with the motion, but I don't really mind. I mean, yes, it's fairly big fridge, but it's not that difficult to move. So I'm just gonna put two straps at the back, so when it tilts up it stops and doesn't hit the roof of the car. All right, this is looking happy. So like I said, one bolt here, I'm just gonna chop this to make it nice and flush, but one bolt through here and one bolt through here, and then all we need to do is just slide this out, and when we get to here it will tilt down the exact same way like a normal tilting slide. So now I just need to attach straps so it stops at about here, so it doesn't hit the roof. And all done. So fridge now slides out and tilt, and the straps catch it at the back so it stays tilted, and that's perfect. I mean, this is perfect. The eye level, I can easily access both compartments. So we've got the cabinets, we've got the false floor, we've got the fridge mounted. Now we just need to make the two drawers. So I've got everything measured out and marked up. This is just some spares that I found. The way I'm gonna make them is probably the simplest way you can. This is a perfect example of one of them that I made earlier, which is just butt joint. I'm gonna put a few screws through just to make sure it's a bit more solid, and a piece underneath, screw it from the bottom to that. That's what I'm going to make. I'll probably spray them black just so they look a little bit nicer from the sides, and then the fronts will be wrapped with the carpet. Right, I just laid them up on the floor just to see what it will look like. It looks like everything does align, which is good. So next step will be glue them and screw them all together, and then cut out the bottom pieces and screw them from underneath to the bottom of the drawers. Now I always do the floor cut out last, because it doesn't matter how precisely you measure, you will be 1 or 2 mils off. So the best thing is to just assemble this as it is, test fit it in the car, and then cut the floor out exactly to measure. Alright, so I'll screw these together just with 3 screws on each side and a bit of wood glue in between, and I'll just test fit it in here. Just put some spacers. There's obviously going to be the floor underneath, so that's this one, and then this one just to give me a little bit of space between the table and the drawer so everything slides out easier. And then on this one, same thing, a little spacer for where the floor will be of the drawer, and a little spacer so everything just slides out and clears everything. So that looks pretty good. It fits really well on each side. And then once everything is in, we'll add in the handles. They're locking handles, so when they slide in, they just click in, and then you can open, turn, and pull it. And they have locks on them as well, so you'll see that, guys, in a second. I cut out the drawer bottoms, and I'm just attaching them to the bottom of the drawers. What I do is I just pre-drill a little pilot hole, and then I drive this screw in. Now these screws, they do cut their own hole, but just to be on the safe side, I always do a pilot hole. That way there's not gonna be any cracks or anything. Alright, I'm gonna attach this one the same way I did the other one, and then we'll just paint them black. So this is a first coat of just black paint. Now I didn't want to buy anything new. I did have 2 cans of just a black spray paint, so I'm just using that. I'm not associated with this brand at all. It's just a rubber in spray, flexible rubber coating. This thing just sprays on like a regular spray paint, but creates a rubber lining similar to like a bed liner, but it's a little bit more flexible than bed liner, and it completely waterproofs the whole thing, so you can fill up the whole drawer with water and it won't leak, and the wood wouldn't get wet. So I'm just gonna spray that, and it just alright. I'll finish this drawer, then do this one. I'll probably do 2 coats on both, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's dried up. Alright, so this is now all nice and dry. It just feels like rubber, and it just sealed completely both of the drawers. So even if I spill anything in there, I can then take it out and just wash it. So the next step is, look at these handles. They need to attach from the outside through the drawer face into this, and then the way that it will work is that it just locks when you slide it in, same way as normal door does. And then to open it, you just open that. There's a little lock, you unlock it, and then just turn, and that unlocks it, and you can pull. Okay, so I just mounted the drawers onto the tracks, just test fitting them. This one is the one for recovery gear and tools and spare parts, and this is going to be the main storage. As you can see, this is massive. So this is going to be my pantry and storage for all sort of other things, so mainly for pantry. And then underneath, this is where my table is. That slides out, so I can prepare some food, or I can cook on this. It's not attached yet, there's gonna be tracks for it, but I can cook on that, or I can slide it out and it's got folding legs, and it can just be a camping table. So that thing's down here, that closes here. So now I need to do the drawer fronts. I just need to wrap them in the carpet, and I already cut the holes through them for the handles, and then install the handles. So I'll do that next. Okay, so here's the first drawer front finished. Same as before, I just wrapped it in a carpet, and I just attached the handle and the lock with some screws and washers, and this should just fit into here like so. I will screw that in from the inside, and then this will just perfectly slide in there. So that's that one. I just need to attach that, and then I need to attach a little piece of metal so the lock has something to click into. Alright guys, so this concludes our series on building the rear storage. I've just attached the drawer front to the drawers and the latch, so that just now latches in, clips in. Same with this one. Look at the amount of storage on that one. That is awesome, isn't it? And like I promised, I should be able to just hang on that. Right, I'll weigh 120 kilos. And I can just hang on that. It doesn't even move. So that should be funny. To put my gear in. Clips in there. It locks. My table is down here. And then down here will be the batteries, and I'm going to put a little cover once that's done. Our tilting slide is done. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was interesting for you. This build can be pretty much the same for any car. It doesn't have to be petrol. You just have to do different dimensions. How to remove the third row, also very similar with every car. They will have the bolts in slightly different configuration, but otherwise it will be pretty much the same. So you guys hopefully will be able to apply this to your car. And if you guys have done something like this or doing something like this, send us photos or send us a video. And if you have a proper video, a proper series on how you've done your car, send it through and we'll upload it as well for everyone to see. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.